taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, T.O., as you know.
It's your boy O Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
Yo, it's the motherfucking fave podcast, the one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film related, along with any other goddamn thing we want to talk about, coming live, direct, Proof of Concept Studios. Fuck is good. What's going on? How you living?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Listen, this week, Facebook. Next week, who the fuck knows?
Yeah,
it's gonna be something completely different.
Well,
did you hear about this?
Yeah, technically that's not the case. Technically, what they're saying is that they're going to have some sort of parent company that Facebook is going to be housed under, which is actually smart. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty, now, not only to get away from all the fuck shit that they've been doing, but they can't change the name from Facebook. Facebook is a fucking staple and a brand at this point. You can't just rename this shit watch letter and then expect for people
watch letter. So did you just pull that out of nowhere?
I just went out of nowhere. Yeah.
That was good. That was like I just rolled off the tongue like it was a real like entity or something like that.
It probably is. You Google it. I'm sure it's a thing. But you can't just fucking rename that shit and expect for people to still rock with it. No, it's Facebook. I know it as Facebook. I only accept it as Facebook. This is why Comcast is still Comcast. But they have Xfinity, right? Now, people get confused and just call it Xfinity, right? No, Xfinity is supposed to be an off branch of Comcast because Comcast is the shit that it's housed under. Or maybe Comcast is housed under some other shit. I don't know. Whatever the fucking case is.
Yeah, so I dropped something here. Don't mind me. Keep going. I dropped something. Yeah. I'm back. So yes, for example, Google, right? Google is owned by a parent company. That parent company is called Alphabet. I think it's called Alphabet. I don't know if it's Alphabet Company or if it's just Alphabet, right? Yeah. And Google is like an entity of the Alphabet Company, and Alphabet Company is like I believe it's like an offshore company. So like you're able to evade a lot of taxes, a lot of liability, a lot of regulation by doing something like this. So I think this is a smart move for Facebook. Yeah. Also, Facebook has been in like a lot of hot water recently. So it's like, let's change some shit up, right? This isn't cocaine. This is blue magic. You know, it's different. We're gonna rebrand this shit. We're gonna put a different stamp on it. We're gonna try and change the language around it. It's the same shit, but we're just gonna dress it up and make it look a little bit differently, and hope consumers forget about the fuck shit that it was before.
Yeah. Look, so I don't bemoan them. This is what companies do, and they see like I still get mad at companies when they do shit, but it's when they do shit that is like previously like unknown. I don't know if I can get mad at companies for doing the same shit they've done for like the last like forever and be like, oh my God, this is like when the what is it, Panama Papers came out? It was like, oh my God, people hiding money overseas. The shock. Have we not known this? Is this new? Like,
yeah, it's like
to know
Gwyneth Paltrow hid $8 million off.
No, get out of here! Crazy.
She didn't know she was in Spider-Man 2. Well, not surprised. She probably doesn't know that money is overseas.
No, she definitely knows it's overseas. She doesn't give a fuck. That's what it. But that's what it all boils down to.
Her accountant knows it's overseas. She doesn't.
No. She definitely knows. The accountant told her explicitly in an email. I probably shouldn't put this in an email, but your money is being hidden overseas to avoid taxes. And she was like, "Cool,
okay,
send."
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, but I'm gonna hit send on this very public email.
Well, yeah. If anybody's gonna send an email like that, it's definitely fucking Gwyneth Paltrow. She gives precisely zero fucks. But yeah, dude, I just don't like nothing like it, and it's not even that I don't get mad at them. It's that they're pieces of shit. And so they'll continue to do piece of shit things so long as we continue to allow them to do. It's like they do things that let us know that they're pieces of shit. Then things quiet down for a bit, and then they let us know again that they're still doing the thing that we knew them to be doing that made them pieces of shit. And then we're like, we get mad all over again. It's like, wait, why did we stop being mad if we just allow them to continue to like? Of course, they aren't forced to stop doing the piece of shit things that they're doing. Why would they? It's like a kid, right? Like if you never actually punish a kid from doing, whatever the fucking crazy thing that the kid is doing, what incentive does the kid have to stop? You can try to talk to the kid about morality, but maybe the kid's too young enough to like understand that shit. So there has to be an actual consequence. Otherwise, your kid's just gonna be like, you're saying this is bad, but I just keep doing it, and you keep not doing anything about it. So fuck it. Like,
yeah. But here's the thing. Like, getting back to the Facebook thing, right? So like they are set to announce a name change and a logo change next week, right? Yeah. So you got to look at some of the companies that have like also done the same thing over the course of time and history, right? We'll start with Facebook. It used to be the Facebook. Then they consolidated and they dropped the, thanks to Justin Timberlake. And now... So,
you really amused yourself with that one, didn't you?
I didn't think that my own joke would be that funny. So they dropped then it just became as the Facebook, right? Starbucks used to be known as like Starbucks, like coffee, tea, and spices. Then they were just like, yo, all that coffee, tea, and spices shit, it's too long. No one cares. It's Starbucks. Dunkin' Donuts is now just Dunkin'.
Yeah.
Right. What's another one? There was another company, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Remember, it used to be Kentucky Fried Chicken. Then they were like, yo, I gotta say that shit every time. I gotta type that shit out every time. No. KFC. So I hope whatever Facebook does, like if they do it, because they're such a like a large, well-known brand, like maybe they just consolidate to like FB, because that's how most people refer to it anyway, right? FB Anchor or something like that.
FB. Everybody says Facebook.
If I'm typing it out, like, yo, like add me on FB or like find me on FB or did you see that thing on FB? No one says like, did you see that thing on Facebook? You know what I mean? Like,
because nobody actually talks
a complete. About it. Nobody does, yeah. But a complete name change would be that's hard to pull off.
No, but again, like that's why they're not changing the name of Facebook. They're basically bringing Facebook underneath an umbrella company. So that they can kind of tie it in. So like I was kind of reading a little bit that they're trying to get into like the VR game too. So basically they're just trying to just make sure that they can do a whole lot of other shit outside of Facebook. But people still know the Facebook brand is attached to whatever the fucking thing is, so that it can start off popular, right? Like, oh, the company that houses Facebook is also coming out with this other fuck shit that you don't really actually need, that we're going to force upon you and probably steal all your fucking data with. But they just don't want people to like, they don't want to do that cold, right? So you say, oh, that also brings you Facebook. I don't know, stupid fuck shit. Let's move on.
Listen, one last thing, you know what I think would be great for them if they were to do, like, they got to get into like the sex industry, right? Like I would go with like only Facebook, where you have this subscription service and you could post all the racy content that gets taken down. You can see all that shit on Facebook.
They still have that. It's just called Facebook. It's on Facebook. It's pretty fucking dark.
Listen, I'm just trying to get myself a new job here. I am the president of only Facebook. Like if you guys want me, listen, I'll sign up tomorrow.
Fair enough. So what you can also do for me is move yourself a little bit to your right, if you can. Just move your entire.
There we go.
There you go. But also, look, let's jump into some things real quick. So, a couple things I want to mention before we really get it sparking. Yo, dude, a beautiful night tonight. I don't know how things look over by you. I know you're kind of down in the boonies, but things are fucking like there is like a gigantic. Is it a supermoon? Is that what it is tonight, dude? Is that what's
Yeah, the
happening?
moon has been
Holy
insane for like
shit.
the past 3 days.
Bruh, I was driving and I was like, "Am I on Mars? Why the fuck does the moon?" And I don't know if the moon looks fucking bigger on
Yeah.
Mars. I have no idea, but I don't even know if you can see the moon from Mars. I don't know anything about science, but
This is
shit
when
was
like
huge.
the age old debate between vampires and werewolves really like would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Mm. Yo,
Are
dog,
you
to
drinking?
Titus,
Is that a high noon?
this is high noon. Yeah, shit's
Yeah,
delicious, man.
good for you.
Yeah, we're not sponsored or anything, but yeah, dude. And I actually swore off alcohol, dude. I drink not to lean into any sort of cliches here, but I drank some like a third of a bottle of Hennessy this past weekend, and for a person who doesn't really drink that much, and definitely I don't drink Hennessy ever. Um, yeah, dude, I was laid out for like 2 days. Like I felt like I was dying, dude. I physically felt like my body, like I was like, this is not just a hangover. I feel like I have the coronavirus plus the flu plus swine flu somehow. I got that. I thought I was dying.
Yo,
So
Hennessy is a gift and a curse because like when you on that Hennessy, you're gonna lay the best pipe you've ever laid. But but then you're gonna be laying down for 3 days just
yeah,
hungover as fuck. So it's like it's
yeah,
the gift and the curse. Like she'll be like, hey, last night that was yeah. But you'll be like, last night, nah, I'm hurting right now.
well, to kind of tie this all in, so I'm drinking High Noon right now, right? Which is great, but I was going to swear to myself that I was going to drink, but I needed something and I didn't have any juice. So I was like, "Hey, fuck it, let me grab it." But to get back to this whole full moon thing, or the moon just looking crazy in general right now. So when you mentioned that, this is the age old debate between vampires and werewolves. I just rewatched a trailer randomly for, and I know you hate when I watch old trailers, but um, American Werewolf in London. I had
Mm,
never seen that movie. And this
really?
was the one from back in like I think it's like 70s or 80s. I want to say it was. And I just happened to be, I was watching some other shit. I think I was watching like Alien or some shit, and I just at the either end of the movie or when I paused it, I just happened to be like clicking on the suggested other movies, and then that trailer or I just somehow got to that trailer, and I was like, holy shit, this actually looks pretty fucking dope, dude. Like it looks weird as fuck, but kind of cool. Now I'm pretty sure they updated the trailer to be like, because it definitely felt like a more nowish trailer if the trailer was made nowadays, because definitely those old janky ass trailers from like back in like the 80s were rubbish. And I don't just say rubbish lightly. I know the full weight of this word, and I know it's very disrespectful to say something's rubbish, but let's just all admit that those trailers from back in like the 80s and
Yeah.
90s were rubbish. Like, come on, like
So
let's
so, so
we
my
didn't
new
perfect the craft.
my new addiction is the Netflix series like movies that made us. You know, I know. Have you seen any of those segments where
No,
it's like they
I
go
haven't.
behind it? Oh
I
man,
haven't
it's
watched it yet.
fun. It is phenomenal. Like they go behind the scenes and they tell the stories behind the movies that like those like cult classic movies. Like how exactly was Goosebumps made? And it's crazy to think that a lot of
Said
these
classic
movies.
movies like Goosebumps. What?
I mean, I think not Goosebumps. I'm
What?
sorry. Not Goosebumps. What is the Ghostbusters? I'm sorry.
Yo,
That's the one I watched last night.
it's like, I mean, it's a
Goosebumps.
classic Nickelodeon show.
Yeah,
Classic
but
movies, it does not
eh,
make. Yeah.
so like I watched the one about Ghostbusters, and there was another movie, Elf. It's crazy to think Elf, the movie, really started at a coffee shop where like two guys met and they were like, "Do you want to do this movie?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do the movie." And someone, okay, cool. Like, do you think we get Will Ferrell to do Elf? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I can get Will Ferrell to do
Yeah,
it.
we're fucking talking about Hollywood. Like, what? How do people
Yeah,
think movies get made? Like, we're making a major movie for a major studio. Oh, let's just plot over. No, motherfucker. Some executive meets up with another executive and be like, hey, have you read that script for that thing that keeps getting passed around 8,000 times? Yeah, I
yeah.
actually really like that shit. All right, let's
Well,
make it
so
cool.
here was the story about Elf is like a very different one, right? It's literally just some guy who's a nobody
Mm,
who wrote the movie, and then he met up with a producer who in Hollywood was also a nobody.
You're not this. No.
So it wasn't it wasn't two executives who met up. It was like two nobodies who were like, yo, let's see if we can do this thing. And like it went on to be like what was regarded as one of the best like Christmas movies of all time. And like that's what this segment on Netflix is about. Like the movies that made us is like, how these people like the Michael Myers, like people were like, yo, like, what is this serial killer gonna like? Is he gonna wear a mask? Is he not gonna wear a mask? Like, cool, let's have him wear a mask. And it's like, there's like a stupid mask, shave the hair off of it, dip it in white paint. Let's see if it looks scary. And then people are, oh shit, that is scary as fuck. That's how the Michael Myers mask is made. They just like dipped it in white paint.
Yeah, like there's all these like little tidbits. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to play like the first Predator, right? And he ended up quitting because he was like, yo, this shit looks dumb as fuck. And so then that's how they scrapped like the first idea of what the Predator would look like. And
then R. Kelly was supposed to play Predator, and then scratched that too.
Yeah, no, he ended up playing it, like, but not just.
He was like, you know what? I'm gonna adopt this in real life.
Yeah,
that's a terrible joke. But here we are.
Let's shy away from that one. But anyways, a beautiful night here in Baltimore City. The other thing that was kind of on my mind in order to
wait, dude. Sorry. Make your choice: vampire or werewolf, and then we can move forward. What would you be?
Werewolf.
Me too. I'd choose a werewolf. I feel like vampires are like.
Yeah, I feel like werewolves don't really want that much. They just want to chill, dude. They just want to be out on the land and just chill. I feel like vampires always have agendas. You know what I mean? There's always, gotta get that blood, Werewolves just want to fucking howl at the moon. That's all we want to do,
Yeah, I feel like vampires are like too sensitive. Vampires are like, oh, I didn't like Dave Chappelle's last Netflix special. I'm offended. Like, I'm non-binary. It's like, yo, like, werewolves like, yo, that shit was funny. Like, I don't care.
Where is this coming from? This is not, we're not talking.
I don't know. We'll get more into.
We hit a very hard turn there for no apparent reason.
Because vampires are just more chill. But I'm sorry, werewolves are just more chill. Werewolves are just more chill. Werewolves are more chill. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's start the show.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is so look, I don't want to waste any time here, but I'm also going to waste time. I figured it out. And the thing that I figured out is that the reason why I don't like movies that have very transparent social commentary, I figured it out. So what it is I hate, like, have you ever been in school, right? And you had a teacher, and you have all different types of teachers, right? You have your teachers who are super direct and just like, hey, pick up the textbook, read the thing, and then that's the thing. Like, I don't really need, there's not much here. I just need to read the fucking thing and you'll get it, right? But then you crack open the book, you read the thing, and you're just like, all right, you're not really teaching me. The book's teaching me, and you're just kind of there, right? To say if I remember the thing from the book. But I remember I had this one math teacher, and it wasn't until really honestly that I got to college where I like the way he approached teaching was just so fucking. It just made everything seem so simple, right? Whereas he took something that ordinarily to me would have been like a complex issue, and he broke it down in just such a way, but it required him not just to point to the textbook and said, just read the fucking thing in there. It required him to give me like real life examples, put it into a context that I can understand, create some layers that made it much more relatable, much more understandable, made it a little bit more complicated, and ironically, in order to make it easier to understand, right? That's why I hate movies that have such heavy social commentary, but don't have any sort of, there's like no nuance in it. Because I feel like they're trying to teach you something without actually trying to teach you something. It feels like you're trying to teach somebody a lesson, but instead of like teaching them a lesson, you're just airlifting something out of the news and then being like, here's this thing from the news that you already know about, and it's pretty apparent, and is everybody knows is a fucking issue, but we have nothing actually special to say about it other than it's a thing. And it's like, well, what the fuck did I learn from that? Like, I didn't learn anything.
Dude, so I'm not gonna lie to you. When you started telling the story about the teacher and like the lesson learned, in my mind, I'm just thinking like, I hope you didn't go to Catholic school, because like I hope you weren't going to tell us a dark story here
Well,
about
I
how
went to
you
school with
retired.
you, so
You,
if there was any weirdness going on,
you went to
you
Atherton.
experienced
Who
it
knows what
too.
happened there? Yeah, your principal was a priest, so like I don't know how often he touched the kids.
Who was this
Um,
principal? Who was the principal?
Principal priest. I don't.
Your
That's it.
jokes suck, Reese.
but but yeah. So like, and I'm gonna take a wild guess here at what movie you're talking about, and is that movie Halloween Kills?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was after
Mm.
watching that I felt this. Did you? So you watched it and you felt the same thing?
So I watched it, yes, so you know, my girlfriend and I, we talked about the same thing, that like there was social commentary that was dropped into this film that was kind of like unnecessary or at least distasteful. It's like it was sour.
No, no.
It
I
was
I wouldn't even call it. And look, and I'm sure you're gonna have like a pretty thick response for it. But let me say this first. It wasn't that it was the wrong social commentary or it was terrible social commentary. It wasn't. It was that it was just it was not very there was nothing else to it other than be careful of igniting the mob because they might be going after the wrong person and you don't know who's who. That's dope as like just like the baseline, but there was like no nuance in it. Like so for instance, and spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched Halloween Kills, but like the dude that they were chasing, right?
yeah,
There was you didn't get to know that guy. Like it was just like, oh, there's some dude who seems like he escaped from some sort of mental hospital, maybe. Um, that's all you know about him. But it's like everybody's chasing him, which is yeah, but it's just like, well, like what is the commentary here? Even Tommy Doyle, right, who's supposed to be sort of like the person who's getting everybody revved up, we understand as much about him as we would expect to know about him from the last time we saw his character, which was in the first Halloween movie, right? From back in 1978, I think, or thereabouts, when the first Halloween came out. Which is, yeah, he's a dude who survived a fucking psychopath killing everybody who he probably knows and loves, right? And he's been haunted by this for the rest of his life. The reason why we loved the first new Halloween movie that we got in 2018 was because there was nuance to Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode. You know, there's we saw all the different aspects of her, that she has this granddaughter that she loves. But she's kind of crazy now because of everything that happened with Michael, which is expected. But there was just like a layered, textured aspect to her character. But with this movie, it felt like it was devoid of that character building and just fucking piled on with the social commentary. But the main reason why I hate that is because it feels like you're trying to it feels like you're trying to teach something, but even you don't even understand what you're trying to teach.
yeah, yeah.
You just observe a thing and you're like, oh, like let's just talk about that thing, but there's no context to it. Like so, like when they came out with the movie Karen, right? I didn't watch the movie, but what I will strongly assume is that there's not any nuance into the character of Karen. There's just this racist white lady, right? But
Yeah.
what I at least what I find far more interesting, and I'm sure people will be like, "You're an idiot," or "You shouldn't find this interesting." Okay, that's fine. But what I find more interesting is if somebody's like super racist, I'm less interested in the fact that they're racist and more interested in why they're racist. Right?
Yeah.
That's the curious part about it. It's like, why are you the way that you are? Is the most curious part to me. And it feels
Yeah.
like with movies like this, they don't go into that. You know?
Yeah, I feel like what this movie did is like you know how like when you ask someone to like define like a word to you, right? And they define the word using the word itself.
Hmm.
So it's like you didn't tell me what the thing was. You just told me like more of the thing. I still don't know what it means,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like in Halloween Kills, they said like, oh hey, here's this like social commentary. Here's this social issue. Here's this like social conversation that's being had. We're not going to explain it. We're not going to like delve into it, and we're not going to add any like layer or context or perspective to it. Here it is. right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you see the front end of that, right? You see like the mindless mob chasing this like person who you know is not really like, they're not the bad guy, right? They're not, there's someone who just has a mental health issue, who made a mistake, but now they're being treated as like that the victim, or not the victim, the perpetrator, right?
Mm.
What I saw from that scene was like the aftermath of it, is where this mindless mob of people chase down this person who suffers from mental illness. The person eventually, like, spoiler alert, throws himself off of like the fifth story of this hospital building, killing themselves and blah blah blah. And for me, it wasn't necessarily why the mob did what they did, because it's easy to like rile up a mob, right? And like, most of these people were like white people, so you just gotta be like, oh, that person wants critical race theory taught in schools, and there's like, get them. Um, what for me was like the most interesting thing, it was how there was like, they literally, after that happened, didn't even mention it. There was no reference to it.
Well, no,
They
but
did
no,
not.
that's not. That's just in addition to what I'm saying. Again, you teach something without actually understanding, meaning that you see it happening, right? And you're like, oh, we need to capture this thing, but you don't know enough about it to notice that, oh, hey, we don't really have a reaction to this thing. We just kind of just skate by it. Like a dude's brain just exploded on the fucking pavement through our actions, an innocent person, basically.
An innocent person. Everybody was just like,
So
it's not him.
We don't know. He could have been R. Kelly's, jailmate, and
maybe.
Also terrible
Like,
things,
their reaction was like, yeah, it's not Michael Myers. Like, it's not him. But it is dollar beer night. So like, let's go. Right. Yeah. No one like learned anything from it. Like, oh, you know what? Like, maybe like, are we becoming the monster that like we're trying to face down? Or like, are we now the problem? They were just like, yeah, it's not him. Fuck him.
Yeah, and I guess you could argue that maybe they tried to revisit that in Michael himself, right? Saying that you can't kill him with blunt force, right? Like, and but that's another thing that I hated about the movie. And what's weird is I actually liked it, but also hated it at the same time. I was very within myself, I was very polarized for the movie. I actually liked the movie, but I hated very specific points of the movie. Like when Jamie Lee or when Laurie Strode, where she's having, like, they did a lot of weird voiceovers in it, where it's like, are you watching a fucking, like, what is this? Like, why are you doing so many, like, is this a teen drama from the 90s? Like, why are you doing so many voiceovers? It's very unnecessary,
Yeah.
To do that. Like, if you want somebody to say something, just have them fucking say it. You don't need to do this, like, layering over what they're saying with the images of these people. Like, sometimes that can be effective, but when that's like your only go-to thing to let the people know, this is what I mean by what is being shown on screen. If you have to rely on that, then that means you're not effective at telling your story. Then you don't actually have a story to tell that you want to tell the people what's going on, instead of actually just showing them and letting them decipher what's happening. And I know it's a hard thing to do, but still.
Yeah, you know when this movie lost me? I hate movies that have like what I refer to as like meaningless continuation, right? It's where you could tell that like the studios or the creators of the movie just wanted to continue, but they don't ever give you like a actual reason why this thing is going to continue, or more reason to buy in. I thought this was going to be the last Halloween movie, but spoiler alert, if you saw the movie,
yeah, they made it. It was always going to be a trilogy. I think from the jump, was how they were planning it out.
I see, but like this one felt like, all right, this is everyone in the village, everyone in Haddonfield is now going to stand up and finally fight back against Michael. And we're just, hey, get the strap, we finna blast this fool, right? Yeah. So, and that's what you thought was happening as you're watching this movie, where it's like you arrive at that scene where Laurie Strode's daughter kind of like leads Michael Myers into this trap where like she like lures him out into the road, and then like everybody in the town shows up. They show up 50 deep, right? And I'm not sure, like, you can tell this was like a predominantly white community, because like they don't know how to jump anybody, right? So they took turns jumping Michael.
feel like the
Well,
KKK have very extensive experience with
yeah. Well, I mean,
how to control do this mob thing. I feel like it's
well, I
very
mean,
well.
Michael Myers is, he is wearing the white mask.
Yeah.
Um, so, but they took turns like jumping him, right? Like somebody would hit him with a shovel, and then somebody would hit him with like an axe pick, and then somebody would shoot him in the leg, and then somebody would like, come and punch him in the arm. And it's like, yo, why aren't all of you just
At the same
stomping this
time,
motherfucker
yeah.
out at the same time? I'd have emptied the clip on them from, and then let's stomp them out. Because like I think like 12 people had guns in the
Well,
mob that
so
was attacking him. So like,
here's the exact problem with that, right? And like we could spend like a minute on this, and we probably need to move on so it doesn't dominate the whole show. But although it kind of has already, what the problem with what they did is that they were all like it was all handguns. I was so confused. It's like, bruh, take a fucking 12 gauge to his knees. Which, okay, here's how to break the anybody. Okay, here's a fucking lesson for all the people of Haddonfield, right? Since they're seemingly all incapable of understanding very simple things, right? If you've got a very strong, very fucking dominating person, right? You don't go fucking head up with them. Are you crazy? If The Rock just strolled into my house and was like, "This is my house now." Bless you, by the way. And it was
I'm
like,
not throwing hands with the Rock. I'm gonna empty the clip.
What the fuck is happening here? No, what the fuck do I look like exchanging blows with The Rock? That's a losing effort if I've ever seen one, right? That's immediately a no. What do? Take the fucking knees out. What are you doing? There was a dude who had he had a knife when there's a knife on the ground when Michael was like walking by. I think it was when he was in the house with Lori's granddaughter, and I'm sorry I don't remember all the names, but he had a knife. And I was like, oh, he's about to do it. I was like, oh, he's gonna take out his Achilles right with the knife. He's just gonna let me get the Achilles real quick, make sure you can't walk anywhere, and then handle you, right? What the fuck is Michael Myers gonna do without legs? I don't give a fuck how. And what's crazy is that he could just walk everywhere and just catch like at this point we need to like develop a better mechanism for him like getting around, dude. Like I don't
he needs to jump on like he needs to jump on like a lift or like a or a lime bird, a scooter, like an e-scooter or something like that. Because I'm sorry, but
stupid.
Like 20, 30 years ago when they first came out with these movies, the he's walking but still catching people is scary now, but no, like not anymore. Like
I am getting loose on his ass, all right?
Super loose. I used to run track, okay? He's not catching me. By the time my lift is here, he's still gonna be like way over there trying to walk up on me. I'm like, nah, bro, listen, get out of here.
Bruh.
Let's slide.
Like, but what I appreciate about the movie is that they just went balls to the wall with the action, which was fucking dope. I respect. I was watching one of our clips from the other day, or I was watching one of our clips the other day of like an older clip that we did, and I was talking about how like I don't like to, and just as like that, I forgot the fucking thought I even had. But I think I was talking about how I don't like, bruh, like it's like everything I was thinking immediately just dissipated from me.
Listen, so I'll jump in for a second. Yeah. I think there's a reason why a movie like this could never take place in Baltimore, because like it's like like this movie would have been 15 minutes long. Glock 17, 16 round clip, headshots. Let's get out of here.
That's the mistake that everybody makes, is let's go for the head. No, cut the legs off is what I'm trying to tell. Look, if you take a fucking 12 gauge to his fucking knees, Michael, I don't give a fuck what kind of like immortal being, he ain't getting up. He ain't walking anywhere.
But like, so one thing you notice in this movie is like people showed up to kill Michael Myers, who's like got over 200 bodies, right? they showed up with shovels and like fucking snow plows, the shit.
What do they think is going to happen here? Like what is the outcome that you were expecting? He's literally laid down everybody that you've put in front of him.
I'm pretty sure Haddonfield is an open carry state, so I know everyone's strapped. And y'all showed up with 6-round clip revolver or 6-round revolvers. Like what are y'all doing?
1944. Like what the fuck is this? The OK Corral? Like let's fucking step our game up. Somebody bring a honestly, like and they, the firefighters came in the house, let them out. Okay, that's fine. But
Yo,
what
these are the
happens?
worst firefighters. They
All
fuck
right,
their pension. They all deserve to die.
we gotta move on.
Yeah,
I've
I
already
was,
spent too much time.
I love this movie, but also there's a lot of things that like should have been handled because they were like, oh, here's this dude walking out of the fire, is burning house. We're just gonna let him walk up on us. Nah, bro, listen, I'm a hollow tips. That's it. End of conversation.
Yeah,
Roll the credits.
it was. Look, I actually, again, there's a lot of things that I liked about a movie. I like that they dared to do something different with this second installment. That they didn't just rehash the first one. That they made this really a different movie. Where the first one, because I was even watching it, I was wondering, did the first one have as much violence as this? Because I don't recall there being just Michael just coming through and just fucking deboing everybody. I remember there being like less like violence in it. This one, they just were like, "Fuck it, let's do it." Halloween Kills for sure.
Yeah.
But I expect that the third one is going to be a little bit more quieter is I think, or maybe a meshing of the two. At least hopefully speaking. But in any case, I thought I'd mention that. Maybe we spent too much time on it. Maybe not. Don't care. This is the Fate Podcast. We do what we do here. So moving on to movies coming out this week, next week. So dude, let's just talk about it, man. It's on and popping this week, man. Shout out to my man Dan. All right, shout out to Dan because we've been waiting for this movie forever. Hey. Dude. We got it this week. I know, Rain. I'm not looking forward to this movie. I don't like this movie, Dune. I don't want to see. It's not exciting to me. Oh. Yeah, but fuck that. I am fucking jacked, son. Jacked for this movie, man. I can't wait to fucking watch this. Dune coming out in theaters this particular week. Can't wait, man. Can't wait. It's gonna be a dope story, dope visuals. I just rewatched Blade Runner 2049. Denis Villeneuve. I always fuck his name up. I don't know what it is about me and his name. I can.
Isn't it like Denise Villeneuve?
No, it's not. You tricked me with this stupidness before.
I don't know.
But yeah, man. It's coming out this week, and I am more than ecstatic.
All right, so let me check in here really quickly. You got the tickets, right?
Yeah, tickets are gotten.
All right, I sent you funds. Where are we going? Are we going like downtown?
No, it's Silver Spring or somewhere thereabouts. I forget. I'll send you the details tomorrow. But
Silver Spring
it's probably closer to you than to me.
God damn.
Yeah,
it's closer. That's closer to neither one of us. But fuck it.
You're all the way down in Laurel.
7 minutes closer. But fuck it, we're here for it. Wait, when are we seeing this again? When does it come out?
Tomorrow. We're seeing it tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. All right.
Aneurysm live on air right now. What's happening with you,
bro? Listen, this week has been crazy. My time track is like all over the fucking place.
Wait, are you not going to be able to go? Is that what we're building?
No. I just I thought it was next Thursday, to be honest. But it's this Thursday, so yeah, it's fucking tomorrow.
I won't see you tomorrow, guys. I will. Well, we'll definitely not expect him there.
No. You'll see me tomorrow for sure. Well,
and it's pronounced.
But yeah, send me the details. Villeneuve.
Villeneuve, I believe it's pronounced as.
If this movie is good, I'll call him Villeneuve. If it's not, Villeneuve.
Yeah, you keep.
But
I remember going back in because I think I was rewatching the when we reacted to the trailer, and you said it, and I just like agreed with it because I was like, all right, fuck it. But that shit is definitely not how you're supposed to fucking say it, and I should have known that. And yet I followed what you were saying. I followed the leader.
Yeah, this should better be good because I have no interest in this movie at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't understand why. This is very confusing to me.
Dune, to me, there's just like nothing really about this movie that like it doesn't feel like anything I've not seen before.
Like what? What have you seen that's like it?
It's just like Chronicles of Riddick or mixed with some like
the actual fuck are you talking about?
Bro, like
Chronicles of Riddick?
Bro, listen, get Vin Diesel in this movie, problem solved. He'll fuck everybody up.
All right, you just made like 1,000
You,
people blow up.
you,
Oh God,
you
this movie
cannot tell
looks like
me.
Chronicles of Riddick.
I feel like it's a similar story. Like they're out in like some
Oh my
space
God.
shit. It's like Chronicles of Riddick meets Tremors meets fucking.
Bro, this is hard to listen to.
You cannot tell
I
me
love.
this isn't like Chronicles
Look,
of Riddick, where
look,
they're out in space, they're like in the desert sand, where you can only move around at night, and
yeah,
like
yeah,
this you know what this is? This is Chronicles of Riddick meets what is that movie with Tom Hardy where he was strapped to the front of the that car.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Although I do know, I
You know
just
what
don't
I'm talking
care.
about.
Yeah, I just don't care to justify what you're saying right now. Look, I love you like a brother, man, but we have to move on because I cannot allow you to say these insane things anymore. This is almost as offensive as whatever joke you made at the beginning of the podcast. I can't do it. I just can't. My stomach can't bear it.
This movie
This
better
is
not
hard,
suck,
dude.
is all I'm saying.
No, you're gonna say it sucks no matter what because you're not. You're like the anti-vaxxers, right? It doesn't matter what information is presented to you. You're still gonna
No, no, no.
arrive at the same conclusion.
See. Listen, I want it to be great. I want it to exceed my expectations.
You just
That's how I
spent
enter
the
every
past
movie.
4 minutes comparing it to the Chronicles of Riddick. In what way does that
That's
indicate
what
that you're willing to give this movie a chance?
I like Chronicles of the Riddick, but here's what I'm saying. Listen, when I went and watched
I hate you so
when
much.
when I went and watched Venom, the fucking Carnage movie that recently came out, right? The first one sucked, but I went into this next one. I went and saw it in theaters. I paid for the shit. We got popcorn and snacks and $8 waters.
Time clock. Wrap
Yeah,
this metaphor
listen,
up, please.
I was ready to have a better experience. It let me down. So when I see Dune, like I never go to a movie thinking like I want to have a bad time. I hope this is a great movie. I hope Dune is a great movie. I hope it exceeds expectations. But from the trailer, it doesn't look like it's going to be great.
Wait, so okay, fair enough. And just to precisely spend about 1 more minute left on this, what specifically from the movie itself? Forget, and I guess you could argue maybe it's because it reminds you of other movies. But you said you like Chronicles of Riddick, so it's weird that and also too, you're saying that it reminds you of other movies. But if there's one thing I know about you is that you like a particular type of movie, and if you like that particular type of movie, you don't give a fuck if you get 8,000 of them, right? You like all John Wick movies, right? It's the same movie every time, right? You like all Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, or at least most Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, right? It's the same movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger doing Arnold Schwarzenegger shit, right?
But those are
So
silos, though. Those things are different.
then what?
So, for example, like when a film is built off of the strength of like one solo character or actor, and it plays into that person's strength, like right, hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger's an action hero. All of his movies are going to be action hero movies. Like it's easy to buy into that because like you know what you're getting. And a movie like Dune, it is not necessarily about the strength of any individual actors. It is like the many people that
But
are
it has,
going to contribute to the story.
So if I'm to track what you're saying correctly, you're saying that the more popular actors a movie has in it, the less you trust the movie.
No. What I'm saying is, this particular story, like this movie Dune, right? It's not about how many popular actors and actresses it has. It is about the story, right? Because there's
So then,
50 of them.
but
So,
but you don't know
but
what the
what
story is, so I don't understand how.
but what I haven't been like bought into, what I've not seen in all the articles I read about this movie and all the interviews that I've seen about this movie from like Timothy Chalamet and what is the girl I forget her name,
Rebecca
Josh
Ferguson,
Brolin and Dave Batista and who's Aquaman? What's his name again?
Jason Momoa. Didn't you just say Jason Momoa?
Yeah, Jason Momoa. Like, there's nothing about this movie or that story, and especially the first trailer that I'm like, all right, I'm sold on it. I just haven't. I've not found that spark yet. I hope it's great. I hope it exceeds
So
expectations.
again,
But there's
and
not been that spark.
I'm sorry to belabor this point, but there's like no, like I've gone back and talked about like the John Wick movies of like how I think that there's a common thread throughout the thing that you can kind of follow a bit. But in reality though, like the movies individually, there is basically no plot. Like it's basically just John Wick showing up, killing people. That's the plot of the movie, right? In essence, right? His dog
No,
died.
it's a heartwarming story. Listen, you kill
Oh
my
my
dog,
fucking god! Are
I'm
you
gonna
kidding me?
kill you and everybody you
So,
love.
so what you're claiming to me, which if again to understand what you're saying, what you're claiming is that John Wick seems to be a better positioned story for you than Dune.
You know
Like
what it is?
the story itself for John Wick is better suited for you.
But, no, but so here's what it is. I've seen John Wick, right? So I can
No,
obviously
no, I'm
speak
talking
to
about the
like my
first time
experience.
you. I'm talking about the first time you watched the trailer for John Wick. Because I remember you and Fabe, you guys were fucking in love with the movie before the movie even came out, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean the John Wick trailer was better than the Dune trailer.
in what in what capacity?
There was a story that was going to be told, and there was great action, and there was Keanu Reeves, one of the greatest actors of all time. So like, I mean, what more do I need? Oh, they killed his dog. He's gonna fuck them up. Great. Listen, I love animals. I
Wait, so
love when people get
how
fucked
is the
up.
story better than in that case?
They killed his dog. He's gonna fuck him up. I love that. I'm an animal
But
rights activist.
how in your mind how is that better than what you think Dune's about? Or is it because you
Because
don't understand what Dune's about?
so I understand what Dune's about, right? There's like this like a race of people that are trying to exterminate these other race of people who like live out in the sand in the desert. It's like it's a war of like I feel like it's going to be a very political movie. It's like about like ideologies and like
See, now
our
we're getting into it. Now we're getting into why I think you don't like the movie, or you seem like you don't like the story to
no.
even begin
So
with.
it's going to be about like I feel like it's going to be a very political film, right? It's like our civilization needs to trump or triumph over their civilization because we are better than them. Like we live in a organized government environment, and there are people who live out in the desert and they don't recognize or accept our government or our governance or our right to rule this land. And there's going to be this class of ideologies and so on and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there are space monsters and like really cool visual effects. I get all that. It's great. Again, after watching the Dune trailer, there was just not that spark of interest for me.
Yeah, I mean, look,
It just wasn't there.
that's fair, but yeah, it's crazy to me because like it's like the same person who can watch like Game of Thrones and be like, oh my god, I love Game of Thrones, can like see this movie with Dune. That's it's not a mirror image to clearly to Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones is it's just like a whole kind of different thing, but it's got that same element of this isn't just about fantasy. It's about the underlying ideas that they're trying to convey, politically speaking, right? That this idea of resources and who has them, and the game of it's a whole big fucking thing. But what's kind of blowing my mind is that you can look at like a Game of Thrones and be like, oh, I'm so excited about that, but then look at this and be like, no, this is terrible. I don't. But then look at a John Wick and be like, I'm terrible. Like it's dizzying. Frustrating, but whatever. We're gonna see it. I'm gonna like it. It's gonna be an IMAX. I'm on cloud nine. So, yeah, I've been waiting all year for this movie. This is like 1A for the movie that I've been really anticipating for this year. I would have to say that The Matrix is probably 1B. For the other movie that I can't fucking wait to see.
When does The Matrix come out again?
December.
So I think I want to go see that. I'm going to tell my girlfriend this. I think I want to go see that alone. Like I want to be by myself, just like
Yikes.
hoodie up in the movie theater. I might buy the seat next to me on both sides. Don't fucking sit next to me.
Just know that
listen.
Pee Wee Herman got in trouble for similar situations. So just
Did he?
Yeah. He went to the theater. He exposed some things he probably shouldn't have exposed. Listen,
I'm gonna leave my dick in my pants. That's not what I'm here for. I just want to be alone.
Movie, right?
I want to have my hoodie up. Don't sit next to me. Don't talk to me. Don't laugh in my ear. I'm here for the shit. Then the second time I go to the movie to see it, like, all right, somebody can come with me, and it could be a a date night type of shit. But like the first time I go see The Matrix 4, because I've been waiting for this for so long, I do think I want to be alone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Alrighty. So yeah, Dune comes out this week. Next week, Antlers comes out, which is just a strange movie. I'm pretty sure that's another A24 movie, but that seems to be the only movie that is piquing my interest for next week. It is not until the week after that we really start talking about some business. If I'm not mistaken, what movie comes out then next week? I'm just so taken aback by your statements about Dune that it's left me very discombobulated. I'll be honest with you.
Listen, if this movie is not good, you owe me fucking. What do you owe me? What do you owe me?
I don't owe you a goddamn thing. You know why?
No,
Because
no,
your taste in
no.
movies, your taste in movies is utter nonsense.
You know what? You know what you're gonna owe me if this movie sucks. Like I want a box of Raisin Bran Crunch. If this movie sucks, you have to get me a box of Raisin. It's my favorite cereal, Raisin Bran Crunch. And I also love that you had some blueberry pancakes the other day.
Yeah, every time I eat blueberry pancakes, I gotta send you a little pic. You know what I mean?
Listen, I was so happy for you. I'm like, I lived through you in that moment. I was like, God damn it! I know he's happy.
But it's not until the week after next that we get the Eternals. So that is a very highly anticipated film that apparently some of the reviews are fantastic for that. So
this movie looks great. Angelina Jolie showed up to the movie premiere with all 5 of her kids just to flaunt to Brad Pitt how much money he's paying in child support. $50,000 per kid. Wow. You know, she's like, yo, that's what is that? What is that? Is that 250? Is that 250? 220? Yeah, 250.
Look, they're used to life.
A month?
They're used to life of leisure, and it's not like Brad's hurting either. You know? So I'm not crying over that one. If I had to pay $50,000 a month, obviously I would be in jail by now. So
per kid though, per kid. That's $250,000 a month.
Yeah, the kids are used to a certain life. You know, hey, look, if you don't want them to get used to that $50K a child lifestyle, then don't fucking treat them like that from the jump. Don't fucking lavish them. Don't tell them to send back the lobster. What are you doing? No, don't fucking take them to wherever the fuck rich people go on vacation. I don't even know of the places that they go. They go to places that aren't even on maps. They just you only know about it if your tax bracket reaches a certain status, and then they're like, all right, fine, we'll fucking tell you. All right, here's a pass. You better not let this shit out. All right.
Yeah, listen, that's why I give my daughter government cheese. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to get too used to being given shit. Like, no, you got to work hard for it, you fucking 5-year-old. Yeah.
If there's one thing I knew from the Chappelle special is you got to clarify when you're joking and when you're just being honest, right? Hey, I'm joking. I don't feed my daughter government cheese.
Listen. I mean, it's from the government. You guys gave it to us.
Jesus Christ. I hope
if I get in trouble, you get in trouble. We all go down.
Fair enough. Let's move on here. Just a couple of headline news. I know we're way past the time where I probably should be mentioning these shits, but fuck it.
Way past.
So Emily Blunt is in talks to star in Oppenheimer, or I guess what people are calling Oppenheimer, which is Christopher Nolan's next movie. I don't know if that's going to be the actual name of the movie, but it is. But it is what people are calling it. So
one of the greatest names of all time, though, Emily Blunt. Like, isn't she married to Ryan Reynolds? Is it Ryan Reynolds?
Jesus.
No, it's John Krasinski.
It is John Krasinski. Yeah.
Bro, listen. If I'm John Krasinski and I'm marrying Emily Blunt, I'm John Blunt.
That's fair. Okay.
It's an upgrade. It's a name upgrade.
Very, very progressive of you. Right?
Yeah, listen.
We're all very proud of you.
Yeah, listen. We're moving forward. It's about taking the next step.
Yeah. So she's I don't think it's a done deal yet, but if they let some info like this, out, then it's pretty much a done deal. But she's joining. She would be joining then Cillian Murphy, who is going to be playing sort of the lead role in the film, which is good for him. I talked about last week how Cillian Murphy, at least in the Christopher Nolan movies, honestly in most movies, is, unless it's, I guess, isn't he the lead character in Peaky Blinders, right?
So he's in Peaky Blinders. He played Scarecrow in Batman Begins. I mean, this is a stellar actor.
He's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? Except for maybe in Peaky Blinders, but definitely in Nolan movies, he's always the bridesmaid. He's always in Nolan movies, but just never, the lead character in said movie.
Yeah.
Like I think he, if I'm to remember correct, maybe I'm wrong about this. I could be wrong about it, but I'm just gonna say it. I'm pretty sure he tried out for Bruce Wayne for the Batman Begins, but
he's also in conversation to play the next Bond. I mean, there's a list of running actors who
I don't think he's got a shot. They're gonna go wildly different. And also, have you watched the
I've not. Listen, I was about to go see No Time to Die the other night, but it was like, I think it was like 8. It was like 8 o'clock. And I'm like, fuck, I won't get out of this movie until 2 a.m. So I didn't go see it, but I would like to this week, if not this weekend.
Yeah. Look, I think that's cool. I think it's cool that Nolan is trying to reach out, because he usually just works with the same set of actors on basically every movie. So I think he's trying to expand beyond his usual. He's not even working with Hans Zimmer anymore, and I don't think Hans Zimmer did the composition for his last movie, which I'm blanking on, Tenet, which is, that was surprising. But he's also not doing this new movie, and I think that they might have had a little bit of a falling out. But I guess Christopher Nolan is just like, fuck it, let me get a new crew. Let me just get all new people in here, see if we can inject some new blood into this shit. And also, he's working with a smaller budget, so this is going to be an interesting project from Nolan. I would like to see him revisit something outside of World War II. It seems like he's in
his Bill Belichick moment. He lost Tom Brady, and now he's like, all right, can I still win?
Who was this Tom Brady? Is it Christian Bale? Is that
Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, and the slew of stellar actors he's had before. Now he's like, all right, let me try and recast. Let me get Mac Jones in here, see what happens.
Fair enough. So also in news, Kristen Stewart. It was just kind of, I don't know if it. I don't know if it was just thrown around. I guess there's following a social media campaign to cast the Spencer Star as the clown prince of crime alongside her Twilight co-star. So basically, people are saying, or there's like a campaign for, at least on fucking, I guess, Twitter or whatever social media campaigns mean these days, for Kristen Stewart to play Joker, which I was like, absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. Not that I'm against a woman playing Joker. Absolutely not. That's not the case. I'm against Kristen Stewart playing Joker. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Get somebody who fucking just get anybody else. This is what I'm.
Yo, she fails upwards. It's insane. Like, now, granted,
I'm not gonna say she fails upwards. She's actually a talented
Have you seen
actress.
the new Charlie's Angels?
That movie was terrible for not the reason of Kristen Stewart being terrible at acting. That movie was terrible.
She was terrible in that movie too.
Fair enough. But that actually.
What was the other movie she was in where she was in where she was beneath the oceans, she was beneath waters, like a Deep Blue Sea type of movie, but with aliens and shit. Yeah, her last 3 movies sucked fucking not even just fucking suck. I was gonna make a joke there, but even I know my own limits.
Fair, okay, that's good. That's a good thing. We're
she's a shit actress. Listen, now she looks the part, right? The iron deficiency, the pale skin, the sickly look. She looks the part, but do I think she will bring anything to the role? No. Fuck Kristen Stewart.
It's hard for me to, and I'm not trying to bemoan her, but I think what she's in the movies that I've seen with her that I didn't necessarily particularly enjoy. What I could surmise from it was that it's not that she's a bad actress. It's just that she's in roles that I don't think. It's like they know what they can get from her, but they try to put her in a different context, right? And I'm not saying she doesn't have range. I just think that the certain ranges that they put her in are just like, is that supposed to work for her? Like, I don't think this is the thing, you know. I don't think this is, they're not using her talents in it. Like, sometimes you have like people in the league that play certain positions, right? Play certain, you know, a person who's great at being a point guard isn't going to be great at being a fucking power forward, right? Like, that's just not, like, not everybody's fucking LeBron James, right? Like, not everybody is I don't know who the fuck the actor or actress you want to say is, not everybody's, I would say kind of maybe like Will Smith a little bit, where you can just do all of these different things and feel just at home.
But let's be real. Not even Will Smith can do everything. I mean, we saw. Well, I didn't see it. Maybe you did. But like, we all heard about Bagger Vance, right? So it's like, no, not even the great
award for Bagger Vance.
I think Matt Damon did. I don't think Will did.
I think. Man, I'll look that up.
Yeah, I mean, look it up, but like, you know, like, not everybody can do everything. I think Kristen Stewart's most recent project, she's playing Princess Diana in I don't know if it's a film or a series, but I feel like if, you know, Princess Diana were here with us today, she'd have like, she's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah,
recast.
Yeah,
recast.
I'm gonna moonwalk on that one.
Yeah, who the fuck is gonna come for me? Prince William, Prince Harry?
They got deep ties there, them boys. All right, so
listen, fuck them.
I know to stay away from the the royal guard.
Fuck them.
Oh wait, what's wrong with our picture here? What happened?
Yeah, bro, we're frozen in time, and I don't look too great there. I got that sleepy right eye, which is my eye that is sleepy. So I guess that is pretty accurate. You've never noticed my right eye? I had surgery on my right eye, which is so it looks different than my left. So I guess that picture is fairly accurate.
There we go.
Are we back?
Well, we're back. Your picture's probably not back. I know why you lost.
Yeah. There we go. We got I'm moving in slow motion, but there we go.
There you go. So yeah, anyways, I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna bemoan Kristen Stewart. She good actress. Just I think sometimes she just is in roles. I for sure think that the Joker is not a proper role to put Kristen Stewart, but maybe she'd be cast and prove me wrong. I've talked about it in the past where people either get floated or people end up getting roles that we're all like, what the fuck? And then we see it and we're like, oh, that was fucking pretty. Fucking Robert Pattinson, who people, you know, would want her to star along. It wasn't too long ago people were like, what the Twilight guy? And now they see the trailer, like, well, I mean, it slaps, but like, now they've had to eat all that shit of what they were talking about. They had to fucking just eat it back up because
but any movie can look good if you like dial up the trailer the right way. It doesn't mean the movie is good.
Yeah, but again, you're conflating two things. The movie isn't like the movie and the performances in the movie aren't always synonymous, right? Just because a movie has a shitty trailer or a good trailer doesn't mean that the movie's going to be good. It's true. But looking at this movie, I would feel like it's fair to assume that we're going to at least enjoy Robert Pattinson's turn as Batman. We may not feel the same way about the story, but after looking at what I've looked at with just the few hints of Bruce Wayne that we've gotten, I have really no problem with what we're going to get out of Robert Pattinson. But again, I digress. So let's press forward here. Let's jump into our first bit of business here after all this fucking time. One of these days we're going to get this podcast on track properly. I
mean, please tell me we're going to dive into. Are we going to dive into the Batman?
That is precisely
trailer. Perfect segue. So you undersold that. No, we were right on fucking cue. We're talking about Batman. We're talking about fucking joke face, Kristen Stewart.
Face. Jesus.
Yeah, I feel like if they cast her, it should be joke face, not the Joker.
Someone call that sexist, right?
Or is it accurate?
Not that I'm saying there's anything tremendously wrong with what you're saying. Why would it be accurate? Why would joke face be an accurate description of the character?
Because there's no fucking way she should play the Joker. It's not because of her gender. There's just no fucking way.
Yeah, I just don't think she.
Listen, if you, we're both on the same page. Listen, if you want to stage a Netflix walkout due to my comment, I'm gonna. I stand by what I said.
You know who I would like to see? I would like to see Charlize Theron play a Joker. I feel like she would be fucking dope as a Joker. You know what I mean? Or like maybe, and I know she's already in the universe, but like a fucking like Zazie Beetz would be a dope Joker.
Zazie Beetz would be good. Zazie Beetz would be good. I feel like she
very
could good.
Give us something that's just like, whoa, this is
Zazie Beetz. Lakeith Stanfield might be a good Joker.
Nah, I feel like he'd be like an emo Joker. You know what I mean?
You think so?
Like all depressed Joker and shit, and just like, you know.
Keanu Reeves might be a good Joker.
No, we're spreading Keanu Reeves then. All right, one more fucking franchise with Keanu Reeves in it, and I swear to God, I'm gonna I'm gonna unsubscribe from my Keanu Reeves fan club.
Fair enough.
Monthly press, press statement. So yeah, man. So the Batman. A synopsis for the film. In his second year of fighting crime, Batman uncovers corruption in Gotham City that connects to his own family connects to his own family while facing a serial killer known as the Riddler. I even just like the fucking premise of the movie, right? The fact that the crime in the city connects to his family is an interesting aspect, right?
Because there's no way that the Waynes were innocent.
Yeah, but they're always portrayed as like, as if they're fucking saints, and and then young Bruce is just, oh, poor young Bruce, but it's like, nah, like let's just call these dudes what the fuck they are. There's no billionaires.
It's blood money. Yeah. It's blood money.
So this movie has a slew of fucking people in it, man. So you have Robert Pattinson, obviously, as the Dark Knight himself. And then you have Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, and Jeffrey Wright, among just a list of other people. But according to Arain, that means that the movie's probably not going to be that good if it has all these people in it. What you want is just one person to be really good in the movie. And then the movie
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, you just need Arnold to be playing a fucking 8,000-year-old.
Listen, if Mr. Freeze was in this movie, they need to bring Mr. Freeze back.
Everybody freeze.
Everybody freeze. Get down.
Yeah, it was a really good Arnold. But without further ado, this movie comes out March 4th of 2022. Hopefully, we'll see. Time will tell. But with all that being said, let's just jump the fuck into the Batman trailer.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning. I've been trying to reach you. Find the gun! This is a powder keg, and Ritter's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa! Take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Dear God.
I got you! I got you!
Thoughts?
Looks good. Okay, looks very good. I like the darker tone. I like the darker imagery. I like the music. I like the there's a certain like texture to it that I feel like is it's kind of like that, like it's not like a raging fire, as the Hulk said in the Thor Ragnarok. It's like a smoldering dark fire, if that makes sense. This feels like, this is not like there's going to be a lot of action involved in this movie, right? But it is not action for the sake of action. It's going to be action where people who deserve to get fucked up are going to get fucked up, but because they deserve it, not for the sake of like just theatrics. And that's what I really like about this movie.
So I think I agree with what you're saying in terms of like they're not going to do things for theatrics, but I think that the motivation is going to be different. I think people are going to get fucked up, but I think it's because Bruce Wayne is going to be fucking insane in this movie, or the Batman, whichever one you want to go with. I think both are going to be just unsettlingly, if unsettlingly is a word. I think they're both going to just be crazy in this movie. That Bruce, like, there's not even I feel like there's not going to be much separation between Bruce Wayne and Batman in this movie. That it's just going to be sort of somebody who doesn't really understand who they are yet. So they're just, and what it is like, I feel like this is catching them sort of like a young Bruce Wayne who just when we read it from the description, right, that it's going to be Batman in his second year, but I think he's still filled with all of that rage from losing his parents, right? And he's trying to channel it somewhere, and when you first do shit, how it's like unstable at first, but then over the course of time you're able to sort of thin things out and start stabilizing. I think this is him just raw and fucking uncut.
Like a young Batman who's reacting based off of pure just like energy and emotion, maybe not the same tactical, logical, rational actions that like an older Bruce Wayne might have, who's like been in this game, who's been doing this for like 10 years, but like this is like year 2 Batman, who's like, yo, I'm just trying to get W's, I'm just trying to win, I'm gonna fuck up bad guys, I'm reacting to things, and I'm also very, very angry. I like that.
Yeah, and this is why when everybody was saying that, like, oh, well, we need Robert Pattinson to be working out and we need a souped up Batman, and like, it's like, no, we don't. Like, we don't need that at all. And in fact, I know we got a lot of violence in this trailer, but I don't think violence is going to be like the main attraction, or the main attraction. I think it's going to be a part of the main attraction of this movie, but I think that we're going to get a little bit of everything. We're going to get a little bit of Batman fucking people up, but we're also going to get the detective Bruce Wayne, right, where he's going to have to use his brain more. And I think that's what I want out of a Batman, right? I'm tired of just seeing him show up, debo people, and then peace out. I always took exception with with how the Dark Knight Rises ended, where nothing really changes. So he gets pieced up by Bane, and one could argue it's because he's like older and Bane's younger, but like nothing changes by the end of the movie. He doesn't do anything different. He doesn't go and get like some special gadget to help him out or anything like that. He just shows back up. It's like, I'm better than you this time. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, like he's like, yo,
still yoked up. What the fuck?
Like he literally just took pre-workout and it was like, yo, like let's scrap again, and then like that's it. Then after they fought, then it's like, all right, bet I'm on vacation now. I got this like Airbnb in Paris, and we're about to go like drink lattes at this cafe. But you know, one of the things I loved about this trailer, it's like it doesn't seem like there's much. There's a lot of darkness here. There's like no theatricality, right? And as Bane said, right, well, what was Bane's quote? It's like,
theatricality and deception.
Powerful agents against the uninitiated. Yeah. Right? Like, I don't feel like we're going to get this. This is, I mean, we might be young. We might be like freshmen. We might be sophomores. But like this Batman looks like he's very much initiated.
No, again, I think I kind of disagree. Like, he looks like he's just out of control. Like, he's not using this, or he's going to have to, he's not using theatricality, not because he's initiated, but because the exact opposite. He's not initiated, so he doesn't know how to do all the flashy shit. All he knows how to do is just punch people in the fucking face and like do like, you know, detective shit, but he doesn't know like the nuances of the and what I suspect is that he's going to be terrible. He's going to be terrible at being Bruce Wayne in this movie, and not because that's by design, you know. He's not going to be able to be like the flashy playboy who just like does all this shit. He's going to be just like, he's going to be basically Robert Pattinson, you know, fucking just Twilight, you know.
and what we know about Batman is like, you know, Bruce Wayne is like the disguise, right? And like Batman is like who he like truly is. So if he's a terrible Bruce Wayne, that's going to make people then start to think like, all right, this guy's not who we think he is. Is he something else? Which may make people more aware that like, all right, maybe this guy is like that, you know, the Cape Crusader. So I'd love to see how his worlds collide, the world of like Bruce Wayne and the world of Batman in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. Either way, man, this looks fucking awesome, dude. I even seeing the first trailer, I was like, I don't even need a shit. I was like, this is just we're good here. Just fucking let March get here, you know. But yeah, I'm looking very much forward to it, man. Again, comes out March 4th of 2022. Yeah, definitely we'll be checking that one out. So let's jump to this next trailer.
For sure. Before we do that, can you give me 1 minute?
Sure.
Can we pause for a second?
Or I could just talk to the people, you know, do what I do. I'll just go ahead and mute you. You can come back when you feel like it, man. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk a little bit more about that fucking trailer, dude. Holy shit. I am ecstatic for seeing this movie. Bruce Wayne, man, or Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne / The Dark Knight / The Bat. Yeah, man, he's looking like this might be the Batman story we've been waiting for, man. I think Nolan served up clearly a great movie, right? Or a great trilogy of movies, rather, right? He reset the tempo for what we expect out of these out of superhero movies, right? He reset the board. So there's no without what Nolan did, we're not talking about Matt Reeves' Batman. I humbly think we're not talking about a lot of shit that we're talking about nowadays. But I feel like this Matt Reeves story is going to be dialed in a way that it's going to be what I feel like Nolan's movie lacked, or Nolan's trilogy lacked, was seeing a deeply emotional Bruce Wayne, right? That's what it lacked to me. It lacked a Bruce Wayne that was just fucking angry, you know, because you'd have to, you know, in order to become a fucking bat, and fucking jump off of fucking rooftops at night, you gotta be not only just crazy, but you gotta be fucking angry to do that. And I think that what we're going to get out of this particular version of Batman is somebody who's angry, you know? And I think that combined with just kind of not just him angry in a sense that he's just going to go out there and start beating the shit out of people, but somebody who doesn't necessarily view what he's doing as, and he says it in himself in the trailer, he's not necessarily doing what he's doing as, oh, because I'm trying to save Gotham City, which is, again, I think the version of Bruce Wayne and the Batman that we got with Nolan. This version of Batman seems like he's just out to fucking have vengeance, right? And that can be in more ways than one, right? So that doesn't just mean beating the shit out of people. What that means is hunting people down, not because they're because you have some sort of moral gripe against them, but because you're mad at them for something that they've done to you personally, you know? And so I have a feeling that his search for the Riddler, or his as Jada Pinkett Smith would call it, his entanglement with the Riddler, is going to be more than just about the fact that he's like, you know, just, oh man, the Riddler did some fucked up shit, so I want to go and, you know, hunt him down. No, I feel like it's going to be personal. It's going to be some sort of personal situation that he's going to have to sort of reconcile, you know, that he's trying to work something out, and he's going to reconcile it on the fucking Riddler's face. And that sounded weird, but we're still going to rock with it. You back with me? All right. Yeah, so that was the Batman. We're going to move on to our second trailer here. This other trailer is Being the Ricardos, which is the story of Lucy and Desi. So follows Lucy and Desi as they face a crisis that could end their careers and another that could end their marriage. So basically it's just talking about I Love Lucy, with, of course, Lucille Ball, if I'm not mistaken. Lucille Ball. I forget Desi's last name. My apologies. I wish I would have familiarized myself with all the particulars beforehand, but this is a fake podcast. This is what we do here. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. If you want the info, just look it up on IMDb. Okay. Aaron Sorkin is the director and the writer for the film. And this is actually kind of not a strange one for Aaron Sorkin, but I feel like not a typical Aaron Sorkin endeavor here. But
yeah, I agree. Like, when I saw that he was a director on this one, I was not necessarily shocked, because as a director, I feel like you want to branch out and you want to do other projects, you want to do other things, you want to tell different stories. If you look at his like list of past projects, I wouldn't have picked this one to be his next. But you know, you gotta love when like a director leans into something that you're like, okay, you know, this person has not historically done this, but they may do it great.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess you could maybe I'll backtrack a little bit. He did do, at least wrote, the Social Network. So, you know, he has a penchant for doing these sort of pseudo biographies, right? You know, on someone. So
yeah,
so,
and listen, hey, and you know what? He may need to redo the Social Network, or at least do a part 2, because that shit's about to change.
You tried with that one. I really do sense that.
No, that was good.
It was terrible.
That was good.
So
that was actually the perfect joke.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself that.
You know, a joke is good when it makes other people uncomfortable.
How did it even make anybody feel uncomfortable? That made nobody.
You're uncomfortable right now. You're uncomfortable.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm uncomfortable for you. It's because you should be embarrassed.
Listen, have you ever known me to be uncomfortable or embarrassed?
There's been a couple of times. You would never admit it, but I for sure know that you might have been uncomfortable or.
Well, there was that one time, but we're not going to tell that story on air. We're recording. All right, let's dive into this trailer.
So, starring in the movie, you got Nicole Kidman, of course, as Lucia Ball. You got Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz, which somehow I forgot. Now I got that fucking hiccups, dude.
That high noon, it'll hit you.
Apparently, J.K. Simmons and Nina Arianda.
Yeah, listen to that.
So
The closer you get to midnight, that high noon will hit you. Listen, I know for a fact. Did you like what I did with that? Did you like
I
it?
believe you like what you did with that.
Did
That's
you like?
fair
Listen, I
enough.
love it. I love it. I love
Fair
it.
enough. So with that being said, we're just gonna dive in here with being the Ricardos.
I am the biggest asset in the portfolio of the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please.
The biggest asset in the portfolio of Philip Morris Tobacco Westinghouse.
Roll sound.
Let's do our show.
I get paid a fortune to do exactly what I love doing.
They got their money's worth.
Pictures up.
I work side by side with my husband, who is genuinely impressed by me. And all I have to do to keep it is kill for 36 weeks in a row.
Okay, let's go.
And then do it again the next year. You know, I did this show so Desi and I could be together.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show.
And action.
I had no idea it was going to be a hit.
Yeah, being in Ricardos.
Dude, I love where we are with streaming these days. In theaters, December 20th at 9 a.m. On streaming, December 20th at 1 p.m. It's like, well, why wouldn't I just wait until 1 p.m.? AMC is like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jeff Bezos.
No, man. If there's anything that like Venom taught, or maybe not Venom. What's the movie that just came out in both theaters?
Black Widow?
As well as, no, not Black Widow. The movie, it just came out like last week. Halloween Kills. Halloween didn't do too fucking bad at the theaters, right? But it came out on Peacock. Look, it's as I fucking said. If people want to go out to see a movie, they'll go out to fucking watch the movie, right? If anything, this adds some sort of democracy. Not democracy. Shout out to Fabe. You'll get that as an inside joke. Maybe I'll tell you later on. It's too long to explain on there. But maybe it adds a layer of, hey, if you want to go fucking watch this movie, go watch it in theaters. If you don't, then don't. But it proves like the movies that people actually want to go fucking see in theaters, and the movies that people are like, nah, I can just sit at home and watch that, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like the ultimate equalizer as far as it comes to actually knowing what movies people would actually pay money to go see instead of being forced to pay money to go see in theater.
Now the real problem with that for theaters is like, how do you know how many people to hire? How do you know how many people to staff? On a big weekend, if a movie is opening up, like let's say Black Widow, right, is opening up on digital or on streaming and in theaters at the same time, do I need to staff 12 people to work at the theaters, or do I need to staff 6 or 8, right?
Well, I suppose only time will tell for that, right? Like you would let sort of the new COVID era play out a little bit, and then
but that's a very
sample size.
That's a very expensive time will tell, right? Because like, let's say AMC has 100 theaters across the country, right? And like, let's say Black Widow is opening on streaming and in theaters across the country.
On your story here.
Yeah, but let's say Black Widow's opening in theaters and on digital across all 100 theaters across the entire country at the same time. So do all 100 theaters staff fully for this big release, or do they like downsize their staffing because this movie is also releasing on streaming? If they overbid, right, and like they staff everybody, but like not many people show up to the theaters, then they're fucked. They lost a shit ton of money. So like that's the struggle that movie theaters are in, because it's like, do we hire more people? Do we not hire more people? Do we staff more? Do we not staff more? Because people can watch movies from their homes now. So like the future of theater, it's like it's a toss up each day with each release.
Yeah, as time goes on, they're just gonna have to take what the sample sizes tell them. But yeah, getting back to this specific trailer, yeah, this looks cool, dude. Nicole Kidman, she's obviously no. This isn't new to her either. She, if I'm not mistaken, she played.
You talking about Moulin Rouge?
No, I'm not talking about Moulin Rouge. I'm talking about Bewitched, right? Didn't she star in Bewitched? That was her, right?
Yes, with opposite Will Ferrell. Yep.
Yeah. So taking on sort of these iconic characters and roles. So is not necessarily lost on her. I like the vibe and feel of it. This is probably one of those movies that I just need to watch in order to really sink my teeth into it.
Yeah.
The trailer, I don't think is designed to be like, oh my God, I need to see this movie immediately. I think it's something that you watch and you find interesting, and then that word spreads from there.
Listen, you just brought back memories for me right now when you with that Bewitched reference. Shout out to my boy Xavier. This is like
you told the story.
Yeah, it was 2005, 2006. I think we were on our way to meet some girls at the movie theater to watch a movie, and like on like a double date type of thing, trying, get some pussy out of this whole situation. But like, I don't think the girls showed up, and then like we ended up watching Bewitched together. Will Ferrell, Nicole Kidman, happened to be a really good movie. I don't regret it. You
said that like you guys fucking went in the bathroom afterwards or something, because you're like,
and we cried. We held each other. I don't regret it. Do you regret it? I don't regret it. But no,
it's so funny.
Good movie.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. I remember listening to something a little while back that said like basically I don't think guys are afraid to be guys around like or afraid to be emotional necessarily like around other guys, or at least that's not necessarily like the genesis of it. It's that when you're emotional around other guys and you're eventually going to be around other women, that's really where the insecurity and toxic as shit masculinity comes out of. Wait, I'm not emotional about anything. I didn't watch Bewitched. Like, let those girls show up. You're like, nah, we ain't seen Bewitched. We seen Fast and Furious 13. All right, that's what we're fucking watching today. All right, fucking action. That's what we're watching.
Unfortunately for those guys, because I've never been afraid to like admit that like this movie made me emotional. Like this thing made me emotional. Like this thing, like I cried during this thing. Like I was never
during Halloween Kills, didn't you? You're a little emotional that night when you try to go to sleep.
When the family came together, it was emotional. But like I remember watching The Notebook in high school, and I remember like there are other guys that like on the football team who like, yeah, I'm not watching that movie. Like, fuck that. I'm like, I watched that movie. That shit was great. Like, I fucking cried when he painted the shutters, the house white and the shutters blue. I'm like, that shit was amazing. Or like, I remember people being afraid to say like they watched Brokeback Mountain. It's like that was a great movie. Like, why are you afraid to say that you watched a movie that was great, just cinematography and great storytelling? Is because like there was like a gay element, a homosexual element that like might offend your insecurities? Like, no, fuck that. It's a good movie. So I've never been one of those guys, and I feel sorry for those people who like can't watch a movie or watch a show or like listen to a song that like is different than like the thing that they identify with because of their insecurities. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, very much so. But I will say The Notebook was kind of a trash movie. Look, I'm just playing. I watched it, didn't get emotional.
I thought it was a really good movie.
It just seems stupid to me. Like I get I get why people say, oh man, The Notebook, etc. I never, and you know me, I don't give a fuck. Like I've never been the type of person to be like, oh, I'm afraid to like react to this movie. No, not at all. There's plenty of movies where I fucking bawled like a fucking baby afterwards.
Dear John, trash.
Yeah,
The Notebook was good. The Notebook was good. Dear John, fuck that movie.
I'm trying to think of a movie that was like it that I'm like, no, this is like a far superior movie.
That was like The Notebook?
Yeah.
I think movies in that category, like The Notebook is like at the top of the list. Like I don't know what's
at the top of the list because everybody says it is, but I personally don't care for it.
Or it's at the top of the list. That's like, oh, Tom Brady's only good because everyone says he is. Like, nah, he is.
Wait,
he is.
Why would the Notebook be at the top of the list?
I mean, it has everything: the great acting, great storytelling, visually, it's beautiful. The casting, the art direction, the costume, and like those intangible moments, those intangible elements.
You know, a movie what I would say is definitely way better, and I had way more emotional.
Go ahead. It's better be good.
Jason's Lyric, I would say, far superior movie to me. Or even
it's been a while since I've seen Jason's Lyric, so I can't knock it, nor can I hold it in higher regard. I would have to see it more recently. It's been like 15 years since I've seen that movie.
That's fair. But that's one. Another movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I feel like was a masterpiece and did it in a quirky way, but I think was a better movie. Even I
don't know. I think you're just throwing out movies now. I mean, yeah, you know what? The Players Club. Yeah, I think that was a good one too.
No, we're talking about basically like not necessarily rom.
No, I'm fucking with you. No, but I do think Jason's Lyric might be up there. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Is that the fuck that movie's called?
Have you watched it with Jim Carrey?
So I've never seen the entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's like
I always catch it like midway through on TV, but I've watched the entire film. But yeah, whenever I watch it on TV, like I always catch it at like a weird point in it.
Yeah.
But The Spectacular Now, have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Yeah, with Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley. Yeah, I think that movie's great. 500 Days of Summer.
I don't even like Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, I know. You apparently have, but yet you care for Rachel McAdams. Interesting.
I don't care for Rachel McAdams. No. Like, if I had to risk my life to save hers, I wouldn't. So I don't care for.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if you've seen this already, but we're gonna do some extra overtime, or we'll just cut something else from the card. But I wanted to get to this other trailer here. Being the Ricardos comes out December 20th of this year, or no, December 10th of this year, if I'm not mistaken. Look, dude, I just got done watching the series. I can't say enough good things about it. It's such a fucking great series, dude. I love it, dude. And it just so happens that a live action movie is going to be coming out here shortly, bruh.
I know where you're going.
Let's watch the trailer for Cowboy Bebop. Let's watch it.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff.
This makes me so happy.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Yo, the end of the trailer with the song like oh my god, that like so if you are an anime fan, if you watch anime, if you are even remotely interested in anime, if you ever seen an anime, if you ever spoke to anyone who watches anime, you know Cowboy Bebop is one of the greatest animes of all time. Cowboy Bebop does have the greatest soundtrack of all time. I mean, this anime has it has the secret sauce. It has the special juice. It has the extra secret. Listen, all 13 herbs and spices. I mean, like whatever secret that you need, whether it's the KFC secret, the Bush's baked beans, all the flavors. It has all the flavors. Like great storytelling, great art, great costume design, great photography, great music, great like just everything. Like there's nothing that this particular anime is missing. And what I love about this trailer is I feel like they took really good care of putting together this series, right? Because if you're gonna do it, you have to do it right. The costume design has to match, the tone, the cinematography, the language, the visual language has to match, the characters, the casting has to match, and I do feel like they got that right with this. I have such high expectations for this, and by this trailer alone, it's exceeded my high expectations. I'm excited. This shit is amazing.
Yeah, so I'm excited for it. But I'm excited for it in the sense that I just want to see this I'm just excited to see more of Cowboy Bebop, right? And it's just going to be basically, I'm assuming, just going to be like a rehashing or a condensed version of the series, right? And which they can totally pull off as far as like story goes. I just don't think stylistically, like I think the reason why I'm tempering my expectations for it is because I feel like it's a very stylized series or anime, right? And to some degree or another, all anime is very stylized, but it's very specific in its style and its feel, and its the way it's conveyed is very specific and very stylized. I don't know that they're going to be able to pull that off if they try to mimic it like directly. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off with a live action series. I just don't. I don't.
Yeah,
know.
so
it's not going to be the same, you know.
So we've seen this before, right? We've seen people try and pull certain anime series into live action before, and because anime is so, with anime, with like this type of art, you can push the boundaries beyond what any live action is even remotely capable of bringing to life, right? Like there's certain things you just cannot do with real people and cameras that you can do with art and graphic design and motion animation and all those things, right? We saw them try to bring Dragon Ball Z to life. Unfortunately, you cannot bring Goku and Vegeta and Frieza and Majin Buu and all. You cannot bring that to life.
There's been some shit that I've seen online that looks way more fire than what we got with the fucking. I think they just somehow fucked everything up with
I don't know if it was lack of budget, if it was lack of commitment, if it was lack of storytelling, lack of writing. It seemed like a lack of everything. But I think even if you brought together the best minds and you gave them like a $1 billion budget, Dragon Ball Z is just one of those things where it's like it will be hard if not impossible to bring it to life. Cowboy Bebop, you can do the costumes, you can do the music, you can do the artwork, you can do the you can cast it as perfect as you can, but it's going to be hard to bring to life those intangible elements of the story that like is really what made this anime one of the greatest of all time. I think I see it in this trailer. I got bits and pieces of it. I love Cowboy Bebop 10 years before you even knew about it, and that's not a knock on you, but like
that's actually probably not true. I think as I got towards the end of the series, I think I actually remembered some bits and pieces of it. I just never stuck with it because anime was always one of those things that I would see come on. Like it would come on like late night or something like that, or like they would show shit like after DBZ, and you just be like, I don't know, man, I ain't feeling this shit. Where's Goku at? You know?
Yeah.
But now that I'm going back, I'm like remembering bits and pieces of it that I either tried to start it or I caught it at some point in the series.
Yeah.
I just never fuck with it. You know?
Let me jog your memory. So this used to come on Toonami late night. It was generally slated in, I believe, the 11 p.m. slot. This was after I believe after Gundam Wing used to come on, and that Toonami
I remember that
late
whole
night
slate,
spot.
and I missed
Yeah,
that whole shit.
do you remember Big O? And there was
Yeah.
also Cyborg 007, and that was like the Toonami late night slot. That's when Cowboy Bebop would come on. I remember watching. This is like 2005, 2006 on Toonami. This is when we used to steal cable from our neighbors.
Yeah,
Like
totally
this is
different.
when. No, this is when we was in the trenches. Like we, you know, this was during the time. This is when we was on welfare and food stamps. So if we wanted it, like, you know, we only had 12 channels, and like this is the one that I gravitated towards. So like when I see this trailer, for me, it's really personal because like not only do I love the Cowboy Bebop anime, I love that they've brought this thing to life in a way that I recognize, and I don't feel like they've missed. I haven't found what they've missed yet. At least, like I feel like they've captured the thing that I genuinely love, and they've brought it to life in the way that I recognize and I see it, and I can appreciate it, and I don't feel like it's been done distastefully, and it's not offensive in any way. I watched this and I'm like, this is it. Can't wait.
Yeah. No. And again, I'm not looking. And if as I was watching it, what I was trying to say is like I don't think that they're going to do a poor job of it. I just think that Cowboy Bebop, at least coming fresh off of like watching the whole series, it's just got a very distinct from Spike's mannerisms and everything. It's all very particular and like, and it's a vibe that's I feel like hard to replicate. And I think that they're going to try, but I'm not sure if they're going to hit it. But either way, I'm just happy to see that they're doing something and they're doing it. It looks like we're a pretty dope cast. Obviously, John Cho and Spike, Daniela Pineda, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen her in anything, or I don't know if I know of the things that she's been in. But even look, and I was going to try to like kind of just walk my way through the cast. I don't even give a fuck. They've got John Cho as Spike. I'm cool. Like we're good.
Yeah. So the only character that I'm worried about is like the character Melissa Fon, as well as like her dog Corgi, the dog, which is a Corgi that she has. I don't feel like that casting is 100% accurate, because in the comic books or in the anime, that character had like, there were some times where she had like black hair. There were other times where she had like kind of like a reddish.
Who are you
reddish hair. So the character, like the character's name is Melissa Fon. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's Edward Wong is the character's name.
Yeah, Eddie.
I don't know if they got that 100% right. And I also don't know if they got like Faye Valentine 100% right. I'm willing to open my mind up to see it. But I'm like,
wait, so I'm not even sure who's playing. Is Kimmy Black supposed to be Ed?
So in this most recent, I was somewhat referring to like the actual like movie that I'm the animated movie.
List. Yeah, I'm looking at the casting list for the movie, and I don't see Ed actually on there.
So Daniela Pineda is playing Faye Valentine.
Yeah.
I don't see who's playing Ed.
Oh wait, this is a fucking series, dude. Holy
shit.
Shit,
wait, you thought this was a movie?
Movie, yeah.
No. There's no way this could be a movie. This is definitely a series.
Like they could definitely tell the story as a movie, because really it's all about Spike's. Like, I think they could definitely tell it as a movie.
Yeah. So in the animated series, they had an actress play Faye, which I don't see. So no, they had an actress play like damn, why am I forgetting
Ed.
The name? Ed. Yeah, they had an actress play Ed, who I think did a great job. But like Ed has had like several from my memory renditions, and I don't see Ed in this particular series.
Yeah, I don't see Ed in this particular series, but that's what Molly Moriarty is the only person that I see, and she's playing Kimmy Black. I can't immediately place that particular character, but I know that Ed in the series played like basically like a hacker But what was dope
Yep.
about Ed was it was always ambiguous about like if Ed was a guy, if Ed was a girl. Ed was just, and they like made it like a point to like be like, yeah, we don't know what is. and I think that especially in today's context, that's pretty, although I don't know, maybe some people might have something to say about that, but I think I thought it was pretty cool watching it, that they just never felt the need to like, highlight that or point that out of like, oh, Ed's a dude or Ed's a girl.
Yeah.
It was just like Ed was just Ed,
So and I feel like we gotta highlight that really quickly, right? Because like there's a conversation coming up down the road about like certain things related to
we're
this.
Probably gonna have to save that either for another time, because I know we're rolling up on our time.
Yeah, we might, but like I feel like in anime sometimes like it doesn't fucking matter, right? Like sometimes in a TV show or a movie.
So with like Faye Valentine, right? They definitely made it a point that Faye was a woman, and she was all of the assets that one would assume come with that definitely came with that, and they weren't shy about exploiting that.
So I sent you a list of some of my favorite animes. There's one I forgot to like include on the list, but you gotta watch this anime called Ragnarok. I think it's one season. It's really just like anime that's about it's on Netflix. No, it's either on Netflix or Hulu. But it's an anime about like basically the gods are fighting like humans, right? And it's like there's just like epic all-time war. I mean, like in all of the gods, there's Thor, there's Zeus, there's I'm not sure if you're familiar with Greek mythology, but Zeus's father, who is Kronos, and like all of these people. There's Adam and there's Eve, and like it is fucking incredible, right? And it sometimes addresses some of these things about gender, where it's like, the gods don't necessarily define their genders, right? Like the angels don't necessarily define their genders. I feel like you find that a lot in anime, where it's like a character's gender does not really matter. It's like who are they? What do they stand for? What if Goku was a woman? Would you love the character any less? But if the story was the same, if Gohan was Goku's daughter instead of his son, would you love that any less? Right? When you look at characters like Pan.
So you say that, but that's I guess that's how you would interpret it, right? But in reality, they didn't come out with Pan until like GT, right? Like we didn't get it until like fucking GT till we started talking about Pan, and obviously things are different with Dragon Ball Super right now, but they did go out of their way to basically make it so that the Saiyan race was basically all dudes again, until we basically got to Dragon Ball Super, which they started to go into like Khalifa and Khalifa, or I think that's
I think Khalifa. Yeah. So yeah, but as they introduce some of these new characters into the series, it's like, I don't care. Like introduce like whether it's male characters, female characters, like alien, non-binary characters, like just like continue to tell a great story. I feel like that's what anime has been able to do, where it's like for a lot of anime, I don't give a fuck what the gender is of this character. Like, are they a good character? Is the story great?
Yeah, or that they build it into the story, right? Like I there was like a storyline in Cowboy Bebop where it was somebody who was, it was hard to, I think they were going for somebody who's transgender, but I didn't. The problem is I work at the same time that I was watching the episodes, so sometimes it was hard to follow certain stories, or hard to like understand like what the main thing is that they were trying to get at with a particular with any particular story. So it was somebody who seemed like they were saying was transgender, but I think that was important to I think that it was important that was just woven into the story, and not like something, but it was something that they acknowledged, right? It wasn't something that they just like threw in there as like, oh, we're just throwing this in there. It's like, no, something that they acknowledged in the story, but it wasn't like that wasn't what the story was about, which I appreciate that so much, that you can have something be a part of the story, but it doesn't define the story, right? Like, and I I imagine like it's kind of like me, right? Like I'm black, but being black doesn't. That's not the definition of me, right? Like that, and I'm not. This isn't a, I'm not black, I'm OJ type of situation. Right? But it is like that's not the only thing that I am. Just as much as I would assume that somebody who's transgender, somebody who's gay, somebody who's bi, somebody who's whatever the case is, or however you define yourself, or however you choose to have something, or not even choose, but whatever you have a part of your character, that's not the only part of you. That's not the thing that defines you. And
for sure, like
in these shows.
Like if someone says like, "Hey, Tunde, describe yourself," you're not gonna be like, "Well, I'm Black Tunde." You're gonna like describe like things about yourself. You're gonna say who you are and what you believe in, what your interests are, and how you identify yourself outside of your skin color, right?
Or I might, but what I'm saying, I might say my skin color, but I might say that.
But that's among many other things.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, dude, look, man, I feel very comfortable leaving this here. I look, we had 3 other things that we wanted to talk about. Marvel or Disney dropping the slate for their 2022 lineup, as well as Netflix ongoing thing. We could top it up for a few minutes about that, but I don't know if it's necessarily that and I don't know how much time we even. And those things deserve time to talk about. So I'll leave it up to you, man. If we could either leave this here or we could chop it up for a few minutes about those things.
No, so one of the things I do feel like we should, I mean, we can talk about, I feel like the Matrix Revolution, like the R-rated thing, I feel like that's a conversation. So yeah, Matrix Resurrections, R-rated, is something I do want to spend a little bit of time on. I feel like some of the things that are happening at Netflix in regards to members of the LGBTQ community who have organized walkouts, which I believe happened today. I believe the better conversation around that is like, all right, like what happens next, right? The walkouts have happened, which I agree with. You know what I mean? Like if you work for a company in which you feel like does not represent how you identify yourself, or your rights, or your needs, should you stage like a protest or a march or a walkout or any type of thing that shows the company that like, hey, like I value me and us more than like you seem to value us, so we're gonna stage a demonstration. I think the better conversation is like how Netflix responds to that and what happens next in terms of like progression. I think we can talk about Matrix Resurrections. We can continue that conversation on the next show, but like let's run through this list really quickly of some of the Netflix delays, because my theory is that the whole Scarlett Johansson suing Disney debacle is what led to some of these things, because it's like, all right, we need to iron out some of the like or at least we need to fill in some of the gaps, and we need to like that gray area, we need to make sure that shit is no longer gray. That shit needs to be black and white before we release some of these upcoming films, because this is going to dictate the future of money is everything, right? Finances are everything. Who do we owe what, and how much of what do we owe them? I think that is what's led to a lot of these delays.
I think that might be a possibility, but I think maybe the far more likely possibility is that they think that this coronavirus shit isn't really going anywhere, and they just want to maximize their dollars and they might be looking at the beginning of 2021, seeing how things sort of panned out with the virus in early 2021, saying, I don't know, maybe we just push everything back and give ourselves until maybe basically the summer to really get things, popping, right? Like, because so Doctor Strange is getting pushed back to May. And basically everything else is just following thereafter, right? Like, so Black Panthers, instead of May, now it's July. Thor, Thunder and Love is being pushed back from May to July as well.
So like, I mean, yeah, and like some of these things are odd, right? So like you said, Doctor Strange being pushed back from,
Oh, I'm
being
sorry.
pushed back
And Black Panther is not being pushed back from July, from May to July. I'm sorry, it's being pushed back from July to November, actually.
November, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like talk around Black Panther, what's happening there. Apparently, like the actress Letitia Wright, who is
I
who
think
plays
that's the
T'Challa's.
most irrelevant story that people are trying to make a thing. I don't give a fuck that she's an anti-vaxxer. I could not. There is nothing that I could care less about that people are trying to make us care about by putting endless articles out there. Oh my God, Black Panther actress is an anti-vaxxer. Who gives a fuck? Is she on set?
Yeah,
Great. Roll film. Like,
I don't care about that. Like what I care about is like, all right, how does that impact their ability to shoot the film if they're shooting in places in which vaccine mandates are mandatory, right? Whether it's in Atlanta or New York or wherever the fuck else. If the main star of the film is unable to shoot in the state or the city,
what state are they shooting in that they have vaccine mandates? There's
so
to my knowledge.
so for example, in Atlanta, the Black Panther, the first Black Panther film, a majority of that was filmed in Atlanta, in which Atlanta, if I'm correct, for like sports teams, organizations, and within the film industry, being fully vaccinated is a mandate, is a city and statewide mandate. So let's say they follow suit.
I don't think it's not a city or statewide. It's done by individual companies. It's not there's no city or state mandate to my knowledge.
No.
So
for example,
for just like regular people, I feel like it's different for maybe city or state employees. That's a different thing.
No, so perfect example. Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah,
the state of New York.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So the state of New York has mandated that, like, if you're a athlete who plays for a professional sport organization, if you're a coach, if you're a staff member, you have to be fully vaccinated in order to play in the state of New York, and as well as for anyone in like the, I guess, for lack of a better term, or my lack of knowledge, like if you're an actor or an actress, if you're in like the SAG administration or whatever, in order to like begin filming on a project or to take part in filming of a project, you need to be vaccinated as well in the state of New York. If I'm correct, Atlanta is the same way. If you're going to be an athlete and you're going to play for a team in the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, you need to be fully vaccinated, as well as actors and actresses who are filming projects in that state. So that would affect Black Panther if they're filming anything in Atlanta.
Yeah. So if I'm looking at this New York Times article, it looks like they're mandating it for like healthcare workers and for basically people who are employed by the actual city itself, right?
Yeah. So that happened this week, where the state or the city mandated that all city employees have to be mandated, and like if they get vaccinated, they get a $500 check. If they don't get vaccinated, they go on unpaid leave. The thing about like for example, the thing with Kyrie Irving and professional sports teams, that happened like weeks ago.
Like what? I'm sorry. Explain. Maybe I'm just deficient on this. So they're saying they're because what I'm looking at right now, there's nothing that's saying that anybody outside of people who are actually employed by the state have to, like, the NBA is or I guess the Nets are a private organization that can have their own mandates for what they for that saying, hey, if you work for the Nets or like you're employed, it's why they're saying that for
sure. So I guess the skinny version of it is like the city of New York has mandated that any for example, sports organization, whether it's the Nets, the Knicks, the Jets, the Giants, any of those, like if you work for, play for, or are part of any of those organizations, in order to be able to play football on the field in New York and to have fans be able to come to your stadium and watch your sporting events, everyone has to be vaccinated. And the whole thing about like the Nets with Kyrie Irving is like everybody else is vaccinated, but Kyrie is saying like, I don't want to get vaccinated, right? And because he's not vaccinated, he's not allowed to practice or participate in any team events. And that's the same thing within, for example, Los Angeles, like the Lakers and the Clippers.
You see, I'm not weirdly. Maybe I just need to do more research. Weirdly, I'm not seeing that. I see like high school athletes, right, and that makes sense because they're part of like public schools, meaning that they can mandate that. But I'm not seeing anything that a private organization would have to like, or like citywide, like places have to be. They're mandating people, sports teams, things like that, to get vaccinated. But anyways, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe you're right. I don't know. But yeah, I think you're right that it can complicate where they shoot, how they do things like that. But in reality, yeah, I don't know how much of the movie's already been shot. I don't know how much has already been done. So the movie
that's true.
Wrapped already, and we're and this is coming out now. But it's just like, who gives a shit? Like, all right,
yeah.
Are they current? Like, trust me, if there was like an issue where now they've got to shut down production because of Letitia Wright is an anti-vaxxer and she's not getting vaxxed, and they need to shoot somewhere where there needs to, trust me, we would fucking see that article in a heartbeat. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like they just know she's an anti-vaxxer and is saying anti-vax things, but that doesn't seem like it's materially affecting the actual shoot. So until that happens, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, so news out of Disney though is that like this might impact her. Like it might impact the film of like what they're able to shoot, where they're able to shoot, what they want to shoot, how they're able to shoot, and whether or not this is going to impact like her role in the film. It's like, let's say they want to tell like a grand story of this particular character, but that story involves like being able to shoot in certain places at certain times, but like this actor or this actress is unwilling or unable to shoot in those places. So it's like, we wanted to tell this grand story, but now we have to tell a smaller, minimized story because you cannot shoot in certain places. Now, granted, this is all hearsay, it's all rumors. I think there's a lot more to come from it, but I do think it's really interesting. Like, if you're filming a movie and a big part of the movie takes place in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles has a very strict vaccine mandate, so you can't film any of the movie. You can't even be on set in Los Angeles, so you miss 3-4 months of filming. That means that in the film you're gonna have your presence, your storyline is gonna be minimized because you can't film for 3 months in the movie. It's gonna take a huge toll on both your role and the film itself. So I don't know. There's a lot of like unknown.
To quote my to quote my old boss, it sounds like a personal problem. It sounds like it's that person's issue. Like, and it might be Disney's or whoever else is employing them. So to like figure it out. But
so and for that reason though, Disney's like, yo, we need to iron out these Scarlett Johansson contracts because I'm not about to be paying these motherfuckers who's not getting vaccinated if we got filming to do. We got to figure out the numbers.
Well, I'm sure. Well, and I'm sure there are clauses in their contracts that say that, hey, if we need you to do X, Y, or Z, and you do not do X, Y, or Z, and I'm sure it's vague enough where X, Y, or Z could be like, well, sacrifice your firstborn, or these type of things.
Bring donuts every day to the set for all 200 employees.
Boston creams, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, fuck. You bring Boston cream, that negates your entire contract.
Yeah, I'm sure they have like wacky shit like that they can, kind of put out there. But I don't know, dude. I guess at the end of the day, I just don't give a shit anymore. I like whatever, fine. If they shut down, Black Panther 2, okay, cool. I guess we'll see it when we see it. Like I just don't like. What am I gonna do? Like, whether? Oh my God, Black Panther 2 shutting down because Letitia Wright isn't. She doesn't want to get vaccinated.
I don't know. I don't want to give the MAGA company that wins like, oh yeah, like there's a reason they didn't put out Black Panther 2. It's because
specifically for
it's
Black
not.
Panther 2.
It doesn't make America great again. It's like, yeah, fuck you guys. Like, there were contract issues, there were shooting issues, licensing issues. It's not about that, but you know they're gonna spin it. You know, like fucking Tucker Carlson's gonna be on like, well, this is why Black Panther 2 didn't come out, because we're trying to make America great again. And I'm like, fuck
here's
you,
the easy
Tucker.
solve. Look, it's a movie that relies heavily on CGI anyway, so fuck it. Just make her the new Black Panther, and just never have her take off the costume in the entire movie. And look, problem solved. You can just CGI her in any fucking place you want to CGI her in. So easy solve.
That's true.
We got to get the fuck out of here. We are way over time. Those issues that we did not get to today, we'll hopefully get to at some point in time.
This episode of the Fade Podcast has been your extended 12-hour version. And we're glad you stayed with us this entire time.
It's what we do. We talk about nonsense up front just to be able to waste time for the actual stories when it gets to later on. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the show. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Share the show with anybody and everybody. We appreciate you guys. But with that being said, we will indeed hit the very usual protocol.
Fade out.
Fade out, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you on a flippity flip. Flippity flop.